Hey everyone, so today I'm going to film my August 2025 reading wrap up. I would say I had a pretty good month in August. I read a total of 6 books. Now, most of these books were very, very short, and 2 of them are children's books, but whatever. I that's what I wanted to read, and that's what I had time to read, so that's what I read this month. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the first book I read this month is Monster Perfect Edition Volume 2 by Naoki Urasawa. So again, this is the Monster manga series that I am reading after having watched the anime on Netflix in preparation for a future podcast episode. I rated it 3.5 stars. It's okay. I think I'm enjoying the manga a little bit more than I enjoyed the series so far. It is a very, very, very slow burn, and there's a lot of things that, like, a lot of characters and plot points that get introduced, and it takes a while to, like, weave them together into, like, the main storyline. So, yeah, it's just a little slow for me, but overall, not terrible. And yeah, I mean, that's what I have to say about that. The next book I read is Small Boat by Vincent Delacroix, which was Dua Lipa's July 2025 Service 95 book club pick. Wow, try saying that 5 times fast. But yes, it's a very, very short novella. I think it's about 125 pages. I rated it 3 stars. It was just an okay read for me. I was really looking forward to reading that one because it examines, like, it's inspired by something that actually happened. A boat carrying a lot of migrants from France to England capsized in the English Channel. And it was one of those things where they called for help when the incident started happening, and the French were telling them to get in contact with the British because at that point they were in British waters, and the British were telling them to get in charge with the French because they were in French waters. And essentially, no one came to the aid of these migrants, and everyone on board except for 2 people ended up dying. So this book is told primarily through the point of view of the fictionalized version of the woman who assisted the migrants by taking their phone call. And it kind of examines the morality of, is she really an evil person for not helping them out? Or are we, like, too desensitized to that kind of situation? So I was really looking forward to reading it and kind of just examining that aspect of humanity. And I don't know, it ended up falling flat for me. It could very well be the translation, but yeah, just overall, it ended up just being okay for me. The next book I read is The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise by Dan Gemeinhart, something like that. But this was a 4.5 star read for me. This is a middle grade book about following Coyote Sunrise, who's this young girl here on the cover. She and her dad have been on the road for the past 5 years after the accident that killed her mom and her sisters, and her dad is kind of running away from that, and there's something that happens that makes her want to head back home, and this is her first time trying to convince her father to take her home in 5 years. But it's full of family heart. This kind of just fell on my, so in New York you find abandoned books everywhere all the time, and I think my coworker found this one outside her workplace, and so he just gave it to me because if anyone at work finds an abandoned book, it automatically goes to me. So yeah, I had never heard of this, and I really wasn't sure what to expect. Some middle grade books read very much like middle grade books, and while I enjoy them, they're not necessarily something that speaks to me as an adult, but this one was so, so good. I gave it 4.5 stars, as I said, and I'm definitely going to keep this as part of my permanent collection because it is just that good. The next book I read is The Adventures of Allie and Amy, Costume Parade by Stephanie Kalmanson and Joanna Cole, illustrated by James Burks. So this one, my husband found somewhere, and he brought it home for me to read, but now I'm gonna pass it on to my niece, who's 7 years old. She loves Halloween, and I think she'll really, really enjoy this. She's just starting to read, so I think she's gonna enjoy it. And yeah, so this is definitely, I think I rated this 3 stars or something like that. It's very, very cute, but it's definitely a children's book. This was one that was like, I mean, I didn't hate it, but it's definitely like, this is aimed at children and it's really just for children. So yeah, I'm looking forward to mailing this out to her, and hopefully she really, really likes it. I think she will, because it's all Halloween, and that's her whole thing that she's into. But yeah, and it's funny because I actually read, I mean, it's very, very short, as you can see. So I finished this on the beach. We went to the beach with some friends, and I pulled this out, and this was my beach read. And my friends were making fun of me because I was reading a Halloween book on the beach. But I needed something light and fluffy in case there was a lot of, like, you know, when you're hanging out with friends on the beach, it's hard to just read because there's so many distractions. So I wanted something that, in case I got interrupted, it wasn't gonna annoy me. The next book I read is Celebrate the Holidays by Sophia Day, and this is a board book, so this is again a children's book. This one I'm gifting to my soon-to-be 2-year-old niece, and yeah, so this one focuses on all different winter holidays. So it talks about Christmas, Kwanzaa, Ramadan, what else? New Year's Eve. Yeah, so it gives very, very brief introductions so that children start to learn about other holidays and other cultures. So I'm looking forward to giving this to her. She's way too young to understand any of the things in here, but I want her to know what other holidays there are besides just Christmas. I mean, and I love Christmas. It's my favorite time of the year, but I'm looking forward to gifting this to her. And finally, the last book I read this month is This House of Grief by Helen Garner. This was Dua Lipa's August book club pick, Service 95 book club pick. So yeah, I really, really liked this one as well. This one was 4 stars. So this one was better than Small Boat for me, but it kind of has like a similar vein to it in terms of like the author is talking about so this one, Helen Garner is one of the most recognized writers in Australia, and there was a man by the name of Robert Farquharson in 2005 on Father's Day in Australia. He drove his car into a dam, and with his children on board, and his 3 children drowned. And so this is the trial that's kind of determining, did he suffer the cough syncope he claims to have experienced that knocked him out for a few minutes, just long enough for him to lose consciousness and lose control of the vehicle and end up in the dam, or was this a premeditated murder to get back at his ex-wife? So Helen Garner she sits through the trial, she sits through the appeal trial, and she doesn't make any judgments on Robert Farquharson or any of the people involved. It's kind of just examining the facts and how, yeah, it's another look at morality in a different way than Vincent Delacroix did in Small Boat. But I really, really enjoyed this one, and I rated this one 4 stars. And I wasn't sure how I felt about it while I was reading it, if I'm being honest. And then once it ended, I was like, no, I actually really, really enjoyed that. But, so that was This House of Grief by Helen Garner. And those are the 6 books I read in the month of August. And I will be back soon with what I'm hoping to read in September. Bye.